this your first time to Savannah?
First time in Savannah, having a ball. Always wanted to come here. Spent some time in Beaufort in South Carolina. Never here.
So what are your impressions of SCAD, and what have you heard about the school before?
Well, it's just sort of a mind blower when you realize it started in '79, and all I do is drive around town and say, oh, that's a SCAD building, and that's a SCAD building, and that's a SCAD. So I guess there's like 60 buildings here, each of them preserved or looking more cherried out than the next. Students got some pretty good looking dorms, I might add. And then going up, and then I saw that Bonnie's Drive-In, which is like a timepiece, you know, that's owned by SCAD. So it's pretty impressive, very impressive. I had a chance to talk to your president last night to get some idea on how that short a period of time, starting with you know, one classroom and something like 60 kids, you get up to 8,000-9,000.
So I read on the internet that you're making a sequel to Wall Street in the next year or so. Can you tell me about that project, or if you're producing it?
Yeah, no, I'm not producing it. I mean, a lot of times they make these announcements. These are scripts in development, and the scripts can go through a lot of drafts, but it's called Money Never Sleeps, which was an expression from the first Wall Street. And they're working on a draft. I've just threw in my 2 cents worth, but I'm not a producer. And we'll really see when the script comes in and how good a shape it's in, if we can do it or not.
Okay. So you started your career, built it as a producer. How do you think that helped you as an actor and to continue your career?
Well, it's a good question. I sort of lucked into sort of producing. I actually started my career as an actor, and I began a television series called The Streets of San Francisco, which was, in the 70s, 1970, 1974. And then at the same time, I had read this book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I just loved. I read it when I was in college, and it turned out that my father had bought the book, but had tried to get it made into a movie, and he couldn't. So I then worked for about 6 years to get it going. But to answer your question, producing is like seeing the whole picture. You know, you have to understand what the movie is going to be. 3 acts, and so you have the overall view. Acting is like tunnel vision. Acting's, they kind of pay you to be selfish. It's nice, you just worry about your part. So I think as an actor, having a producing background makes me see the whole movie. And so I'm pretty good at knowing what my responsibility is in my role. If I have to pick up the pace, if I have to create threat, if I have to create humor, whatever it might be at that moment. And also I tend to look out for my fellow actors, you know, and I can get a sense of what they need to offer. So being a producer, I think helps you understand and make a better movie. And as an actor, you want to be in good movies. It's no good giving a good performance in a picture that's not good.
I want to be a producer after school. So what advice do you have for student producers who want to stay independent?
Well, producing is about material. If you have a piece of material that's good, it attracts. You know, it attracts the elements. That's really the secret. It'll attract the financing. The question about being independent, there's kind of 2 independent schools. One is you have all of these studios that have a so-called independent division, be it Focus at Universal, Warner's independent, Fox 2000, but they're connected to studios. So they've got the best of both worlds. They can make the pictures less expensive, but they have the marketing costs. And the big trouble with movies today is how much it costs to market them, the publicity. But if you're, you know, independent in the sense of finding a piece of material that you really like, and you know how to make it, if it's a book or not, to make it into a 3-act structure, you know, or whatever form, but it is a good movie, then, you know, you'll attract the people to you.
My favorite film of yours is The American President. I was wondering what kind of research you did and if playing the president changed your view on the role of the president in the U.S.
Yeah, well, I mean, the nice thing about playing the president in a movie is you know how the script ends. You know, so that's a big advantage. I liked that movie a lot. It was much more of a romantic comedy. Rob Reiner, who was the director, who's also one of the producers, sort of pushed it, I think, a little too much into kind of a social importance and didn't do quite as well as it should. But I learned a lot, and I was very in the movie. There's a sequence where as a president, I have a White House dinner for the French president of France. And 6 months after the movie was over, I got a lovely invitation from the White House from President Clinton to go to a White House dinner for the French president, President Chirac. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that picture.
So how do you feel on receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from SCAD?
Old, probably. You always think when you get these Lifetime Achievement Awards, you think, well, maybe they talk to my doctor or something, or they know something I don't. No, it's a lovely honor, but the real joy is to come someplace where you've never been before. You know, like Savannah. Get a chance to go around. I'm lucky enough to have both my wife Catherine and my kids here with me, so we've been out and around, and it's fascinating, and to learn something more about an organization or a school like SCAD, and realizing that you guys work pretty hard down here.
All right, my last question is, in district we have a section called You Said It. We go around, photograph 7 students, and ask them a random question. So we're going to do that this week with all of our interviews. And our question is, what is your favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
My favorite Halloween costume as a kid.
Or ever.
I always liked the zombie. I always liked the zombie. I remember you could all do things with, like nails through the head, or you could work out those daggers sticking out. Blood, a lot of blood.
That's all my questions. If we can just get a picture or two.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.